This video was sponsored by Squarespace. So weeks back, I put out a video covering 5 major reasons to buy a Nintendo Switch OLED over a Steam Deck. So it's only right to revisit that topic in favor of the Steam Deck over the Switch. Before we get started, pause the video right now and jot down your top 5 reasons to buy the deck over the Switch. Then we'll look back and see how everything shakes out. Now, when I was putting together this video, the funny thing is that I spent more time trying to narrow down the list than with any other area in my production process, which, when you really think about it, speaks volumes. Without further ado, here's the top 5 reasons to buy Valve Steam Deck over the Switch OLED. Unlike a lot of Nintendo gamers, I got into the Switch much later in the product lifecycle. I didn't own a Switch Lite or the OG Switch. I went straight into the OLED, and though I was immediately impressed by the display and the flexibility, early on, it felt like I'd be using the console predominantly in dock mode, because I quickly learned that the Switch OLED was downright uncomfortable for me after prolonged use. And I'd probably still feel that way today if it wasn't for aftermarket accessories such as the Satisfy and Skull & Coat grip cases. I'm sure a lot of other Switch gamers feel this way as well, but the truth is, we shouldn't be that reliant on third-party manufacturers to fully enjoy the Switch handheld experience. Where the Steam Deck is concerned, I've never questioned whether or not I can play in handheld for long stretches of time without some aftermarket case, because the handheld ergonomics of the Steam Deck are second to none. With considerably larger and beefier grips that are much more accommodating to adult-sized hands, the Steam Deck grip cases have always felt like a luxury rather than a necessity, as with the Switch OLED. And even with a Satisfy grip, for example, I still find the deck more comfortable to hold for prolonged sessions because it just conforms to my hands more naturally. The shoulders and triggers, the parallel analog sticks, the side D-pad and face button placement all comes together to simulate a traditional console controller, in my opinion, better than any other handheld before it. One of the benefits of gaming within a closed garden is that all software is vetted and fine-tuned to run within the limits of the console hardware. But there is a bit of a darker side to that, which is that in a sense, you're giving up your freedom to venture out beyond that beautiful tropical paradise created for you. The Steam Deck, on the other hand, encourages just the opposite, be it emulation, software modding, or side booting a completely different operating system like Windows OS. And while the experience can be a little rocky at times, there's just something very liberating about being able to carry a single device that can do a little bit of everything. Nintendo games, PlayStation games, Xbox games, and of course PC titles. The Steam Deck has you covered. Whatever your passion is, whatever your expertise may be it a service, product, etc., Squarespace can provide you with the tools to build a professional and legible website or domain that is both reflective of your brand and geared towards helping you achieve your goals, be it monetary or otherwise. You do not need to have an ounce of experience with coding or graphics design or anything of the like, because Squarespace has some of the best-in-class customizable website templates, housing beautiful imagery and artwork to help you build a clean and professional online presence. Head over to Squarespace today to discover how simple it truly is to build a website or domain from the ground up. So look, we know the Steam Deck is much more powerful than the Switch. After all, we're talking about a device that was just released last year versus the Switch OLED that's sporting hardware originally released back in 2017. Pound for pound, you're going to get more frames on the deck, and we know this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse on that angle. However, I will highlight the fact that one of the reasons the deck shines with performance for AAA games and emulation is because of the performance tools you have access to. Adjusting TDP, clocking the GPU, capping FPS, activating screen tearing, you have all these performance adjustment tools at your disposal before we even get into the performance settings on the software level. And you can monitor and analyze the effects of your tweaking in real time with the overlays. With the Switch, if you're not into jailbreaking, you know how it goes. You're pretty much flying blind. Now, this may seem fairly obvious, but this is something that I really appreciate when I take my Steam Deck out in public that I really wish was available on the Switch OLED. The ability to lock my device with the PIN code. Yes, it would be nice to have a fingerprint reader, but a PIN code entry is a lot better than nothing. Now, to be fair, there is a bit of a workaround for the Switch, which involves installing the parental control app on your cell phone so that you can generate a PIN, but it's kind of a janky method because you have to go through each day of the week and set the playtime to 0 minutes, so that every time you wake the Switch, it flags that your playtime is ended and requires that PIN code in order to disable the notice. But I would really appreciate a good old-fashioned native screen locking option on my Switch OLED. This is a portable device after all, so it's kind of surprising to this day that Nintendo still hasn't provided users with a streamlined option to protect their account and their privacy when they're on the go. You lose out on collecting physical media for the deck as you can on the Switch, but the Steam Deck has a wild card, which is that unless you lose access to your account, you can always access your Steam library from any PC device, should your Steam Deck ever fail. So you can rest assured you can still play all your games without the need to repair the deck or to go out and purchase a new one. And I really like that insurance. And when the Steam Deck 2 arrives, because physical media has been removed from the equation, you don't have to worry about possible backwards compatibility issues. And on top of that, I have to call a spade a spade. Steam games in general are a lot cheaper than Nintendo games. And Steam sales occur more frequently than on the eShop. And when those sales do happen on the shop, first-party flagship titles are hardly ever included. So you're almost always going to be looking at $60 for first-party games, regardless of how long ago they were released. I bought Cyberpunk 2077, A Plague Tale Requiem, and Evil West, all for $30 or less via a Steam sale, among many others. And then there's the Nintendo Online subscription service that you have to commit to in order to play Nintendo games that you probably already own for older systems. With EmuDeck, you play the collection of retro games that you built up over the years for free. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'd really like to know what you thought of the list, and if some of my reasons align with yours. As always, thanks for watching and supporting the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.